Hi, I'm Leanne. I'm a lightworker and a mother to 3 special girls. I strive to continue learning, growing, and to collect new skills. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki master teacher, and Akashic record reader and energy healer. I am so excited to share what I've learned and what I'm going to learn and the ups and downs of life. Thank you for joining me on my journey. Welcome to Life of a Lightworker podcast. Hello and welcome. I am pulling from the Wisdom of the Oracle card deck from Barton-Reid today. My intention is for those who are listening, what do they need to hear at this moment in time? Okay, the card that I pulled today is number 30, Tick-Tock. And from the book, the essential meaning is timelessness, divine timing, and immeasurable time. And there's 3 messages in this book. There's the oracle message, the relationship message, and the protection messages. Protection message. Oh, it's hard to say that one. And prosperity message. I'm just going to ask which message I'm supposed to read today. Okay, I'm being pulled to the protection message. So, have you been feeling as if the clock is ticking and getting a little nervous that your dreams are taking too long to manifest? There is nothing to fear. You will never run out of time for the important things. The miracles that are yours and yours alone cannot be missed. Isn't that amazing? You're in such capable hands, with guides and angels hovering in your invisible spaces, ensuring that your journey will be filled with all sorts of goodies. Let your anxiety be gently dispelled by your faith. Spirit will never deny you your highest good. All is yours in divine, appropriate timing. You can relax. The image for this card is a pocket watch that has a balloon on it, and there's a pair of hands. What looks like they are letting go of the clock, and the clock is starting to fly up and float up. And there's a bunch of debris behind it. It feels like to me that it's breaking through the barriers of the time, letting go of what you are. Feels like the constraint, holding onto time so rigidly, like overscheduling or thinking things have to be planned out in a very specific way, letting go of when things are supposed to happen or what you think they should happen, and letting faith take over. I know that's a hard one for a lot of people because we are so conditioned to build everything around time. Everything is so regimented. We have been doing this since we were little. You do things at certain times and that is kind of it. You draw the line. And I feel like it's calling us to take a step away from the regimented time, as in scheduling time that's not scheduled, if that makes sense. So blocking off time in your calendar where, something's getting my throat, where you are free to let yourself, nature, the things that are meant to happen. So we're not scheduling every minute of our life. We are having chunks and pieces of time that are free to let the universe work. Because if you schedule everything, the universe does not have the space to work and do the things it needs to do. So you need to be more flexible with your time. You need to step back. And though it's hard to just jump into a non-scheduled life, that seems unbearable, impossible. How could you do that? I feel like scheduling the pockets of time and growing those pockets of time to where you can feel the time. It's more like you know what it's time to do. Let me say this again. It feels like you will just know when you're supposed to do things based on what your soul, your body is telling you, and not so much what the clock is telling you. And I feel like when you start to trust your own knowings, then it's not going to be so tied to the clock, because you can trust that everything will get done when it needs to get done, because you know that your higher self, your soul, your team is looking out for you. So you don't have the forgetfulness, especially, and you don't have the distraction. Because it feels like when you are stepping into this unscheduledness, it's also stepping out of the world of distraction, because the distraction is what makes you need to have the schedule, because you can't. So I don't think there's anything wrong with watching TV and zoning out and doing those types of things periodically. But when you do it all the time, you're not allowing the space for your higher self to come in and talk to you. You are being so noisy that you're drowning them out. You're disconnecting yourself from them by being so distracted. And when you're distracted, you need the schedule in order to get you to do the things that you need to do to survive. So that's what I feel from this card. Let me see if there's anything else. It also feels like letting go of the expectations of time. So I feel like it's about comparison as well. When you compare someone, well, they did that in this length of time, so I should be able to do that in that length of time, but it takes you more time or less time. It has nothing to do with time. It has to do with when you're ready, when your spirit team is ready, when your soul is ready, when the people around you are ready to be able to give you that opportunity. It has nothing to do with actual time, like the length of time it took someone to do that. So that's the part that needs to be stripped away as well. It's the comparison of time, not just your time and scheduling, but what we think how long things should take. Yeah, again, should take, because it has nothing to do with linear time. It has to do with when you're ready, when the people around you are ready. It really is a collaboration. It sometimes isn't just you, it's a collaboration. And some people beat themselves up and they keep looking at themselves, well, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this in order to make this happen. Well, sometimes you need to wait until another person is ready so that they can give you that opportunity. It's the divine timing, waiting, seeing all these pieces work together, how the puzzle works, how all the cogs wheel together, they move together. You have to see it as a whole and not just yourself. Maybe you are ready, but the universe is not ready to give it to you yet. It's not the right timing for it to come into your existence. So you need to be patient. So letting go of the time of having things happen now. And that's a really hard one for, I'd say, most of us. We all struggle with that because we all want everything right now. That's kind of the world that has been built for us, right? The convenience of getting things that we want right away, not waiting, not having to source or build what we need to make, and just instantly about buying it without thinking. And it really changes our expectation for everything. And yes, some things that we can manifest or bring into our world is fast. It is instant, but sometimes it's not. So it's letting go of the need that everything has to be instant. It's taking the breath and feeling into the flow, and knowing that when you don't have to improve or move or grow or change in order to get what you want, you need to rest. You need to take that opportunity to rest so that when the thing you are calling in comes, you are fully charged and ready to accept it. So instead of taking those times when things aren't coming fast enough and dwelling of why they're not coming fast enough and stressing about it, the more productive use of that time is to fill your cup. Do things that are fun, that light you up, so that you can still remain a vibrational match for what is coming in, instead of allowing that stress and that worry to drag you down. It's the big lesson in the waiting is not letting the waiting drag you down. It's not letting it hold you to this, I just see like this wheel that keeps going. It just keeps going and going and going. It's this track that we're stuck on, that when things don't happen when we think or hope or dream that they happen, that it's going to wreck everything else. It doesn't trickle out into everything else in a bad way. It trickles everything out in a good way. So there is no bad reasons, reactions, experiences. There's all something about them that makes the next step better. So it's holding on to that faith, that belief, that hope, that vibration of love for yourself, love for other people, so that you know that this will happen if it's meant to happen, and that something amazing is coming for you, and knowing that things will happen the way they're supposed to happen when you listen to the call, when you have the time, the space to listen when you need to listen. Allow yourself the space so that it can come in and it can flourish and be listened to, and you can move on it. And trusting feels like the biggest things are trusting it and holding space for it. And you can't hold space if you are overscheduled or distracted. So you need to have the space. And a personal experience about this is that the summer was super busy. Having all the kids home, it's noisy, and I have a really hard time getting into the space where I can receive freely when I have all these expectations, all of these people asking me for things all the time. I get into this mode of giving and not receiving. So the summer was very difficult to receive inspiration. But when I was driving to my parents for this one time, and I got this incredible download as I was driving, because I was kind of just zoned out, just driving, not thinking too hard. I couldn't do anything too much. I was driving, and I got this massive download that had been waiting to come in, but I was so distracted. I hadn't scheduled the time to be fully into myself, because that would have required me to probably leave the house. Because when I'm around the kids all the time, I find it hard to receive all the inspiration that I need. That's something I need to work on, is to be more receptive in those spaces as well. That's, I think, a hard thing for mothers and parents, is that you're always giving and giving and giving, and you're so used to that, it's hard to switch to the receiving when they are around. But so when my inspiration is, it's really crazy, the huge download I got. It was so exciting, because I had this feeling. I keep getting these nudges of, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this, kind of just breadcrumbs down my trail. But I got this really big download that's for in the future. I wasn't given an exact timeline, but it feels really big. So unless there's like a big windfall, it's probably not going to happen for a little while. But again, everything is in motion and I don't know. And I don't really want to know personally. I'd rather let the universe move when it needs to move and not have me knowing about a timeline so that it's more locked into. Because I want it to be able to come sooner if it's possible. So, anyways, this download is one of the things that I'm supposed to do that I love. I'm so excited that this is on my path, that I was given this idea and thought and inspiration, is to have a center for kids with special needs. And in this center, it is focused on the family and not just the kids. So yes, the kids are going to be getting all these supports in the spiritual realm, but also on the physical, where they'd be occupational therapists, speech therapists, and psychological therapists, and also have all the people, the energy healing and all the readers and all the physical modalities that aren't traditionally covered by insurance or the government when you have special needs. So I want this to be a completely holistic. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot more things that come in, more people I find, but there'll be like nutrition and all sorts of things. And it's not going to be just helping the kids. So I find a lot of different therapies and supports you get help the kids and the family a little bit, but not very much. Because I feel that when you support the parent and the parent learns, the parent's growing, then the kids can flourish. So there'll be programs similar to like Triple P type things. So the more traditional stuff, but there's also going to be more spiritual stuff. And so we'll have classes, but also one-on-one therapies as well. So people can learn about their soul, be more connected with themselves. There'll be meditation and yoga and all these wonderful things so that we can heal the families and the kids at the same time. Because I think it's not one or the other. They have to happen together. They need to happen at the same time in order to fully heal, to fully move forward in the best path possible. I feel that so deeply that we need to support the families. And like, I got the idea that we could even have nap rooms, because how many special needs kids don't sleep properly? I'm going to say properly as in enough so that the parents are fully rested. How many kids have a hard time dealing with all the energetic needs in order to sleep? So we'll have people to help the children sleep by cleaning their energy and working through the exact reasons why they're not sleeping, but also have nap rooms where the kids can go to the playrooms and different support people so that they are well taken care of on premise and the parent can go nap. I know I would have loved that so much, especially in the early years. I needed to sleep because I was way past survival mode. I wasn't sleeping. Like my oldest, she didn't sleep more than, like, for the first year, she slept for 1 hour at a time. And it wasn't when she was 3, she had like 1 3-hour stretch and the rest was like 2 or 1 hours. And it wasn't until she was about 5 that she started doing like multiple 4-hour stretches, and she started sleeping through the night when she was 7. So that was exhausting. There was no way I could have even thought of ways to help her because I was so sleep deprived. I don't want other people to go through that. I want to prevent that as much as possible. So I want to have this safe place where people don't have to worry about their kids because they're on premise with these professionals that they know, they trust, they love, because they see them all the time and they're getting all these therapies and supports. They are comfortable and familiar in this building, in this space. And I got the idea there would be a petting zoo, and support animals. They'd be spaces where people can connect with animals, because animals are so calming and so therapeutic for everybody. Everybody needs animals, but especially special needs kids, because their energy, it feels like they have so much of it, it doesn't get moved and cleaned and expelled the way that it needs to in order to thrive. So the animals will help, as well as all these other healing therapies, and I'm so excited about it. There's so many different ideas of all the different things that it could be, and I'm so open to see how it changes and moves into what it will be. But my biggest goal is that supporting the family and the kid at the same time, and that's not just like the parents and the kid that has special needs, but also the siblings. They need the support too. And I don't know how many times I've gone to an appointment for my oldest, and their siblings weren't allowed to come, and I didn't have childcare, or having to pay extra for a babysitter to go to a therapy appointment. And all these little things add up in your mental load and your financial strain, and it is overwhelming. It is overwhelming. And I want to help families not have to deal with that. And also, one of the biggest things that came through that I was like, oh, this is amazing. All these families, when they're applying for all this support, all this money, all these services, they have to do all this paperwork, and they have to do all these things, and they don't know how to do it properly. They're tired. They don't have the mental load to do this, and the thought of even filling out the form might push them over the edge where they feel like they can't even apply. I want to have people to help them apply. I want to have people to walk them through how to do it, support them, so it's not overwhelming. They're still doing it, but they have someone to lean on, so that they can get all the services that they can get from the government, from other businesses that are these charities, so that we can all work together. Because I don't want to completely take away people from the FSCD and the government support people. I want to be a bridge, because I know when my daughter applied for FSCD, was it 6 years ago? It was an 8-month wait list in order for her to see an occupational therapist and get the one-on-one help. And now I've heard it's even longer. And I think it's ridiculous, because when you usually get everything in order to apply, you are so beyond stretched. And then you have to wait even longer. You're so past survival mode. It feels like you're drowning. So I want to be the bridge. So I want to help people before they get the actual services, and then hand them over and fill in the gaps. So they'll get what they need, but maybe, so I know I'm using occupational therapy as an example, because that's what has helped our family the most. So maybe they see the occupational therapist 2 times a month, once, 3 times a month, but maybe they need it a little bit more. So we'll give them more time, or different services that will support that therapy, so it works together. I think everything can move together and work together. It doesn't need to be conflicting. And I really want the whole thing to be a community. I want everyone to support other people. So the parents that have gone through it, they're helping the new ones that are coming along. And we're sharing tricks and tips of the things that have helped us. And we're building the supportive community so we don't feel alone. Because that's the biggest thing, is feeling alone. Feeling like there's nobody else doing it. You read online and you know people, and you're through different groups of oh yeah, they deal with it, they deal with it. But you don't really see them in person. You don't have as much connection. And yes, the online ones are great when you compare it to having nothing at all. But I want to build more. I feel so deeply within myself that I'm supposed to help kids. It's such a strong desire and such a strong need. And that's where I need to go. It's not even I want to go, it feels like I need to go. So now is the time that I'm receiving more ideas, more inspiration, recording it, and waiting for the right time. Because this is a huge endeavor. It feels so massive because it requires so much money. And this whole thing is going to be a nonprofit. And I need to win the lottery or have lots of donors or one big donor, I guess. And I would love to fund it myself, but at the moment it feels so daunting. So that comes into play too, working through those blocks where I can attract all the money needed in order to make this dream a reality. So that is my next step of working through myself and working through the blocks that this is going to require a very large amount of money. And feeling that dream so strongly that I just can't I won't let it go. I love it so much. It holds such a strong place in my heart. And when I received it, I was like, yes, this is it. This is it. This is what I want. It brings in everything I've learned and all the things I'm going to learn and all the different people I've met and all the people I'm going to meet, and brings them all together to help people. It's just going to help people. So that is my dream. What I received when I gave myself the time to turn my brain off, to get out of the scheduling. I had this big chunk of time that I was driving that I wasn't doing anything. And then it came through. So allowing yourself the space so that it can happen. And I'm not talking, well, you could start with like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, do whatever you can fit into your life. But when you can give yourself larger chunks of time, that's when the real stuff comes in. I'm going to say real, I'm going to say the big things, because you are letting yourself, because it takes a while to get out of your scheduled, fast-paced world and become comfortable in just being in the slow place now without thinking about the next thing. So, because we have to train ourselves. Some people can do it really fast, and other people it takes time. So, relaxing and giving yourself grace and it's just giving yourself the space. Giving yourself space to be able to receive. That's the biggest takeaway, the biggest thing that I've learned. And that's something that I think everyone needs to work on a little bit more. Everyone could give more time and space to receive. So I am really excited about this, and I hope you guys are excited too, or able to receive what will inspire you. And it's okay if it doesn't happen right now. Maybe it's going to happen in a year or 2 years when the right time for you to receive. Because I've been trying to pull at what I've been wanting to do or needing to do. Like I knew there was something big, but I didn't know what it was. And every time I pulled at it or tried to get it, it just felt like it was further away. Because if I had received this 2 years ago, it would have been overwhelming and I probably wouldn't have even thought it's possible and just dropped it. You receive things when you are ready to receive them. But it's not going to come unless you give it space. So, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And if you want to connect with me, I would love that. My website is www.spruceenergyhealing.com. My email is spruceenergyhealing@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube. I'm Spruce Energy Healing. And I hope you guys have a great week. And I look forward to talking to you next time.